If you say Ancelotti has no tactic, then Enzo Maresca also doesn't have any tactic because they are doing basically the same thing. The only difference is that Enzo Maresca is doing it with a completely fit team. The only person injured in Chelsea is Reece James. Whereas on the other hand, Real Madrid is plagued by a series of injuries. Look at it. Enzo Maresca has no first 11. There is no regular starter in Chelsea's team. In fact, the only two players I can say that are regular in Chelsea is the goalkeeper and Cole Palmer. Aside from these two, every other person in that team is rotatable. Today in the attacking, you see Jackson, Neto, and Mudryk. Tomorrow you see Madueke, Nkunku, and Felix. He keeps switching. In the midfield, you can see Lavia, Caicedo, and Enzo. Lavia, Caicedo, Palmer. Lavia, Enzo, Caicedo. Lavia, Enzo. He keeps changing. In the defense, you see him rotating players. But why is nobody complaining that he doesn't have tactics? Simple, because he is winning matches. Right? He keeps rotating his players and he is winning matches because with each new formation or new sets of players that he puts on the field, he decides a different tactics to suit those particular sets of players on the pitch, which is exactly what Carlo Ancelotti is doing in Madrid. He knows that he has a lot of players injured. So with every match that comes, he selects a set of players and then he will decide which tactics to employ in that very game, putting into consideration their individual strength. But you all are complaining that he doesn't have tactics. Why? Because they added Mbappe to the squad and the team is underperforming now. Last season, this was exactly what Ancelotti was doing when he had series of injuries. He kept changing pattern, kept changing formation. At one point, central defense pair was between Carvajal and Tchouaméni. At one point, like 2-3 matches last season, the central defense pair was Carvajal and Tchouaméni because all the defense line were injured. But he was winning matches. Nobody came out to complain that he had no tactics, so that he depended on individual brilliance. It was not because the team was plagued by injury again this season and they are underperforming, and everybody's now saying that he has no tactic, that he's depending on individual brilliance. Whereas it's the same thing that Enzo Maresca is doing in Chelsea because he keeps rotating players, changing tactic, changing formation according to his players' individual strength. So if Ancelotti doesn't have tactic, Enzo Maresca also doesn't have tactic. And honestly, if you ask me, I would rather have these kinds of coaches with no tactic than a Guardiola with all the tactics in the world and who was able to win just one game in 10 matches.